Okay, Shalom, giving all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, Ba'Shem Rokak Wadash. My name is Lamadia. I want to give double honors to the elders apostles who I learned from, also the bishops who I learned from. And my name is Lamadia from the New York camp. And the name of this video is going to be entitled Learning How to Navigate Amongst the World. So this video pretty much gonna be pretty much for new believers just coming in, and if even if you're not a new believer, and some of this advice work out for you, you know um go ahead and apply it. So the first, since I said the word advice, let's do this. Let's look at the word advice, because looking at words is a very essential. So let me type in the word advice. So this is from, I typed it in on Google. Okay, advice. So as you see, the word advice take you back to the Latin. Um, there we go, right here to the point. You got the word ad, to, videre, to see. So the word advice, when you break it down, the word advice is from the Latin word to see. The same as the origin of the word wise. The word wise take you back to the Latin word videre, or wits take you back to the Latin word videre, meaning to see. So when you're giving one's advice, what are you doing? You're giving them insight, because oftentimes when you're giving someone insight or advice, you're trying to get that person to see something that maybe at the moment they may not be able to see. So that's why you offer them insight or advice. So that's what advice means. So this video will be based off advice. So now let's read the English definition of advice. Guidance or recommendations offered with regard to prudent future actions. So, and that's excellent. Guidance or recommendation offered with regard to prudent. Now, somebody that's prudent is a person that is what's the word I'm looking for? That had discretion. So a person that have discretion, they see both sides. They can see what happens if you apply the knowledge, and what may happen if you don't apply that knowledge. And usually when you don't apply that knowledge to the matter, it leads to confusion and disruption and circumstances that you may not want inside of your life. So reading this again, guidance or recommendation offered with regard to prudent future actions. Now, a person giving you advice, they may have experienced that matter themselves or the circumstance themselves. So they may be warning you not to do certain things, so you don't have to go through that path. Cause they already seeing you going through it if you don't comply the information that's being given. Because going back to the word advice means to see. They already see what's gonna happen if you don't apply the knowledge. So that's what the word and not advice. So this video again is gonna be pretty much advice to brothers, you know, or sisters just coming into the faith. And like I said, the name of this video gonna be entitled how to navigate amongst the world. Because what happened oftentimes when people come into to this knowledge or to this faith, they tend to be zealous. That's a good thing, but also they could be a little too impulsive and not knowing the balance of everything. Yes, Esau is the devil, but at the same time, you may have to work for the devil. So while you're at work, you got to know how to maneuver or remain invisible. Going without being detected, because a lot of times, you know what happened, being overzealous. Brothers, they go to the jobs and they start saying a little too much and being impulsive. They end up losing their jobs, and then they want to say, well, Esau the devil. Yes, Esau is the devil, but however, you got to move with wisdom. And again, the word wisdom means to see. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about proper etiquette. Also dealing with, maybe family. Dealing with woman that may be a non-believer. And with work while you're on the job site. So the first scripture I want to do is Shalakia. I thought I had the word I thought I was sharing the screen already when I was going through the word advice. But the first scripture I want to do is read is Ecclesiastes 7:16. And it reads, "Be not righteous over much." Now, the reason why I say be not righteous over much, because certain things is beyond our control. Yes, you do want to check your food, making sure there's no, pork in it or something that is detestable. But to be honest, everything we eat is defiled. If you was to do research and everything we eat or what's inside our food, you'll find out you pretty much can't eat nothing. So that's what scriptures mean about being not righteous over much. You don't know you get your food, you don't know where that food came from. You don't know if they prayed over it, and half of the time they did pray over it. But we in captivity. So that's when you balance things out. So if you get food, you pray over it. You pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to bless your food. So it says, be not righteous over much. And that goes for, brothers, you're dealing with a woman. She may be in the world. Look, if she's a non-believer, just deal with her accordingly. Don't try to push on her, being a righteous Israelite. trying to get her to wear a dress. Because now if she does do it, she don't really know why she's doing it. She just doing it because you tell her to do it. She's not doing it because she's trying to get right with the Lord. She's just doing it because you forced her to do it. But at the same time, if she's a non-believer and she just so happened to ask you certain questions, you answer those questions. But at the same time, you come to find out the woman that's non-believers and the woman that so-called say they believe, they pretty much the same. They pretty much the same. It's no difference. So it's up to her to it's up to her to deal with that accordingly. Especially, if you have kids in this world, you got to deal with that accordingly. You got to be wise about it. You can't be having your kids going to the Esau schooling system and having them going to Esau schooling system, calling Esau the devil. You have ACS on your ass. So you got to be wise, because it all goes back to understanding that this is not our power, or this is not our kingdom. When Yahweh shall return, this kingdom gonna go down, and then Yahweh Shah is gonna put us in power. But as of right now, we're not in power. That's the main thing you had to understand. You're not in power, so you're gonna have to adjust. So it says, "Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shalt thou destroy thyself? Be not much wicked, neither be thou foolish." Because some guys will take this scripture and say, okay, so since the scriptures say, "Be not righteous over much," let me go ahead and just do everything that's wicked. That's what the scripture said. Be not over much wicked. Because I give you an example. When it comes to keeping the law, we still break the law. So that will make us wicked. I give you an example. The Sabbath day. You may have to work on the Sabbath day. You can't go tell your supervisor or management that you can't come in today because it's your Sabbath, and do that every week for years, and they're gonna be understanding about it. What's gonna happen? You're gonna lose your job. So you may have to go in on a Sabbath day. That's why we under grace, and by grace meaning mercy. So you try to apply much of the law as possible, but we under subjection under Esau. So now, but if you able to set up something where you could work, not you able to work not under Esau and have those days off, by any means, go ahead and do it. But for the ones that do work for Esau, you're gonna have to work on the Sabbath. You may have to work on the Sabbath. And even for the ones that may work for themselves and have a flexible schedule, no matter how you chop the board, you're still not keeping the law 100%. Because let's go back to the Passover. You supposed to raise up that lamb yourself. Now during the Passover, you don't know the history of that lamb that you cooking. That lamb could have had blemish, which is against the law. You don't know anything about the lamb. That lamb could have been sick, which is against the law. Use the one that's supposed to raise it up yourself. So you're breaking up the Passover. Again, that's why we under grace. So in the case of the Passover, we keep the law. We keep the Passover the best as we can. We had to go to the butcher shop and buy the lamb. But the Most High see that as an act of faith. So let me finish. Be not over much wicked, neither be thou foolish. Why shouldest thou die before thy time? Now let's go to the book of Matthew 10:16. Behold, I send ye forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. So the Lord said he sent us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. He didn't say he sent us forth as wolves in the midst of sheep. So he sent us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. So you got to be humble when you out and about amongst the world. You can't be impulsive, getting into fights, getting into brawls, being violent, fighting with the cops, the arguing, debating with cops. The Lord didn't send us out there to be that way. That's why he said he sent us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. And be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Now let's go to Romans 12. Give me 1 second. Romans 12 and 18. If it be possible, as much as life in you, live peaceably with all men. So when you out and about, you have to try as much to live peaceably. When you go to work, you may go on there and say good morning or good evening, or I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good weekend. You know, you putting on a avatar, something that's not you. But the aim is to make your eight and escape. Because you're only there for one thing, to make money, so that way you're able to, take care of your responsibilities. That's it. You're not there to make friends. So you have to be professional when you're on the job site. Don't go out there flipping and wilding the hell out, looking like a bug out. So the scripture said, live peaceably with all men. And I got to give you the truth. In certain cases, you're on a job, your supervisor may be a lesbian black woman, and that's something you just may have to deal with and be humble about it. You ain't got to become best friends with that person. You go to the job, say good morning, and you deal with that person on a small dosage. That's it. Or it may be a homosexual, a faggot. You may have to, look, you may have to be at peace with that person. You can't be going to work like you at camp. Calling them, sodomites and shit like that. You can't do that at work. Your supervisor may be a faggot. You just may have to deal with it. Now, in the back of your mind, you can say whatever the hell you want. You could curse them out in the back of your mind, but when you're at the plantation or on the job, certain things you just don't speak of. You leave that for camp, and you leave your mouth at home. Now at camp, you could vent at camp and talk about that, but at work, just do what you got to do. Going back to the title of this video, learning how to navigate in the world. Because the scripture said, be not righteous over much. Because we're not in our kingdom yet. And in our kingdom, we're going to be able to, put people to death for if the nation's doing wickedness. Because all Israel is going to be righteous, and the nation's still going to be going off. But if they do wickedness, we're going to put them to death. But we're not in our kingdom as of yet. We have to wait till Yahweh shall return. So verse 19, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. So somebody do you wrong, You don't go out your way to revenge yourself, trying to get payback. Now, if somebody do you wrong in the world, you send them to those prayers to the Most High, and the Most High will deal with them. That's it. You got to remain spiritual. Now let's go to Micah. Oh shit! I just lost the scripture, but it's okay. All right. Micah 7:5. It says, "Trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a God. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom." And that's going into pillow talking. Because let's be real, the woman we dealing with is not fully on our side. They may say shalom and pretend like they believers. A lot of them not sincere. Now, some of them might be sincere, but a lot of them is not sincere. And you want to keep this truth away from her. You know, like you coming into this knowledge, the Most High may have her as a non-believer, and she may believe when she actually starts seeing the power of the Most High. But as of right now, she's a non-believer, so you don't want to force it down her throat. Now, she asks you questions again. There's nothing wrong with answering the questions. Now, if she choose to make assessments and you know make improvements on herself, that's something different. But if you come into this knowledge and she's a non-believer, just leave it like that. You do what you got to do, and you may tell her certain things, like certain things you don't eat no more. You may, such as the dietary law, and that's it. In a lot of cases, they may understand, but you don't force it down their throat. And lastly, let's go to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, because this topic will go on for as a marathon of scriptures that we could bring out. But I just put together 5 scriptures that came to my mind, and I just wanted to build on that. So this Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 20 and verse 20, and it says, "A wise sentence shall be rejected when it cometh out of a fool's mouth, for he will not speak for he will not speak it in due season." Yeah, so there's a time to bring out wisdom. You don't go to work trying to teach everybody, even though it's the truth, but that's not the place for teaching. That's why Scripture said, "Wise sentence shall be rejected when it coming out of a fool's mouth," because at that moment you're being foolish. Because even a fool could say something wise, but a fool don't have discretion. A fool, like let's say, a fool could learn about the Illuminati, right? And now that fool may give information on Illuminati, but the time he's doing it might be at the wrong time. You telling it like you don't talk about the Illuminati to somebody. Let's say they just lost somebody and a person passed away. A person lost a child or a mother. It's not time for that. Cause right now they are in a grieving state. So you did talking about the Illuminati and the three city states and going into, America, the corporation. At that moment, they don't want to hear about that because it's not the time for it. So that will make a person a fool. So there's a time and place for everything, and you got to know what time you in. And another scripture I could read is Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, but you can read that yourself. So with that, I'm gonna close. And Lord willing, this video was edifying. And I'm gonna say again, Kohalayim Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rokar Kodash, Shalom.